about to forcefully remove what you did not have the strength to walk away from. You have felt this building, the sudden urge to isolate. The environments are suffocating you. That is not anxiety. That is your spiritual frequency detecting a massive shift in the unseen realm. Stay with me until the very end, because I am going to show you exactly why this timeline was accelerated. I will give you the specific protocol to shield your mind when the exposure happens, and I will reveal a truth about your dormant capabilities that science has finally proven. Do not scroll away. If you walk out now, you will mistake. Let me show you what is really happening. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting alone in the dark, watching the headlights of cars pass by your window. The glass is cold against your forehead as you watch a world that seems to be moving on without you. You scroll through your phone and realize there is no one you can actually call who would understand the depth of what you are feeling. This isolation is not a punishment, it is a protective quarantine. Most people are looking at the calendar, watching the clock tick toward Wednesday with a sense of looming disaster. They see the surface. They see the volatility in the world, the tension in the atmosphere, and they call it horror. But you are here to look deeper. You are part of a smaller group that is being briefed for a different reality. Before we go further, I need you to understand how high the stakes are for the next few minutes. By staying until the of this message, you will receive more than just information. You are going to receive the shielding protocol, a specific mental framework to navigate high-pressure shifts without losing your peace. You will learn the hidden meaning of the Kairos time that is unfolding this Wednesday, and I will reveal the neuroscience behind your own internal frequency that has been suppressed since you were 7 years old. This is your preparation for a season that others will simply fail to understand. The first layer of this mystery is understanding the signals your soul has already received. There is a specific physical, spiritual bridge that connects your body to the divine timeline. You have likely noticed 3 distinct shifts within yourself recently. The first is an unexplained pressure in your chest, a feeling of heavy anticipation that something is about to give. You might have mistaken this for stress, but it is actually responding to a massive reorganization of your destiny. The second signal is a sudden change in your tolerance. Conversations that used to feel normal now feel like static. Environments that were once comfortable now feel suffocating. You are outgrowing your old container in real time. And the third signal is the loudest. It is the silence, a feeling that you have been pulled away from the noise of the world, not because you are lost, but because you are being shielded from the fallout of a matrix that is about to expire. If your spirit confirms even one of these signs, I want you to do something right now. Do not stand up. Do not reach for a pen. Simply take a deep breath and imagine a blinding light settling into your bones, filling the space where that anxiety used to live. As you hold that breath, type 777 inches, the comments to anchor this frequency into your reality. But there is something even deeper beneath these feelings. There is a reason why your body is detecting this Wednesday shift before your mind can even process it. And it has everything to do with a mechanism that no one has ever explained to you until now. To understand what is actually happening to you right now, you have to look at how time is measured in the unseen realm. Most of the world operates on what the ancient Greeks called chronos time. This is clock time. It is calendar time. It is the ticking of seconds, minutes, and days. But there is a second word for time in the original language, and that word is kairos. Kairos does not mean a day on a calendar. It means an appointed time. It is a divine window where heaven forcefully intersects with earth to change a trajectory. This Wednesday is not just another day of chronos time. You have entered a kairos moment. The enemy, the unseen forces of opposition, they know they cannot stop a kairos moment. When a divine appointment is set, no dark force has the authority to cancel it. So, what do? If they cannot stop the event, they try to manipulate your perception. They try to make a divine rescue mission look like a horror. They amplify the chaos. They stir up the people.
Beloved child, be still within and recognize that what is unfolding in you is not a passing wave of emotion, nor merely a surface shift in circumstances. I am leading you into a complete transformation, one that reaches into your very core, where body, mind, and spirit converge and become aligned. The old layers of weariness, of merely striving to get through each day, are quietly falling away. Not because you are weak, but because they no longer belong to the reality I am opening before you. You were not created simply to endure and survive. You are called to live with influence, to carry within you an authority that flows from me, and to walk in a purpose far beyond what your eyes have ever perceived. As it is written in First Epistle of Peter 2:9, you are a chosen generation, called out of darkness into marvelous light, and this is no longer a distant promise, but a position into which you are now being steadily established. Therefore, do not look back on former seasons with suspicion or wounded reflection, as though I had forgotten you in the days when you were pressed through trials. Those periods were not signs of distance, but the pathway through which I was quietly preparing you for what is greater. The moments when you felt shaped, restrained, or led into circumstances you could not fully understand were all part of how I expanded your inner capacity. Like a potter patiently working clay, I have never ceased forming you not to weaken you, but to make you strong enough to carry what I will entrust to you. Remember what is written in Epistle to the Romans 5:3-4. Suffering produces perseverance. And character produces hope. Every step you have taken has not been random, but an essential part of the process through which I bring to light what I placed within you from the beginning. Now, as you step out from those days of being refined in the fire, you will begin to perceive that I am no longer shaping you through pain as before. I am moving you into a different phase, one in which everything within you is being ordered with precision and depth. This is no longer a breaking, but an alignment. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions begin to come into harmony with my will, like streams redirected into their rightful course. And within that alignment, you will see that the light does not merely appear and fade, but grow steadily within you. As written in Book of Proverbs 4:18, the path of the righteous shines brighter and brighter until the full light of day. You are no longer walking in a dim glow. You are advancing into increasing radiance and fullness. Let me tell you of one who walked a similar path, in a way that you may recognize yourself within it. Do you remember Joshua, the one who succeeded Moses when he stood before the people? He was not a man untouched by trial. He had walked through the wilderness, witnessed the doubts of the people, and carried the weight of following a great leader. Yet when the time came for him to rise, I did not require him to become someone else. I simply spoke, as recorded in Book of Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. What I did was not to immediately change his circumstances, but to establish within him a new awareness of who he was, that he was no longer merely a follower, but one entrusted with responsibility. And so it is with you. You are no longer standing in the place of one who only observes or waits. You are being called to step into the role of one who carries responsibility and authority. My beloved child, what matters is not whether you feel ready, but whether you recognize who is with you in this journey. When you understand that I am the source of all that you carry, you will no longer be bound by the fear of failure or the sense of insufficiency. You will no longer measure yourself by old standards, for you have been brought into a new level of awareness. As it is written in Book of Zechariah 4:6, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. This is the principle by which your life now operates. What you do will no longer flow from striving, but from union with me. And within that union, you will begin to see your influence extend naturally. You will not need to strive to prove your worth. My presence within you will do that. When you enter a place, you carry peace without needing many words. When you speak, your words carry weight, not because of effort, but because of their source. You no longer live as one merely trying to survive. You live as one sent to bring transformation. As written in Gospel of Matthew 5:14-16, you are the light of the world, to shine before others. That light is not something you produce. It is something I have placed within you to shine through you. Therefore, do not return to your former mindset, and do not pull yourself back into limitations that once felt familiar. You no longer belong there. I am opening before you a new path, a path where you do not walk for yourself alone, but where you make a way for those who will come after you. What I am doing in you does not end with your own transformation. It will become a source of blessing for many. You are called to carry life, to build, to uphold, and to demonstrate that my power is still at work through those who trust me fully. Keep your heart soft before me, yet stand firm in what I have established within you. Do not be afraid when you sense a strong stirring within, for it is the sign of life growing. I am not leading you into this to confuse you, but to bring you into the fullness I have ordained. And as you continue forward, you will come to see that everything I have begun in you, I will also bring to completion. As it is written in Epistle to the Philippians 1:6, you are not walking alone, nor are you walking without direction. I am with you, guiding you step by step into the reality I prepared for you long before you recognized it. Beloved, before you seek change in your circumstances, recognize that what I am doing begins deep within you. The transformation you are experiencing is not the result of everything around you suddenly becoming easy, but the evidence that your soul is a higher reality. When one matures, they are no longer driven by the fear of loss or the need to cling tightly to what they have. They step into the life of one who has been entrusted, one who understands that their source is not in what is seen, but in what never runs dry. Therefore, you no longer operate from lack, but from the abundance I have placed within you. As written in Book of Psalms 23:1, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And when you truly grasp this, the way you see, the choices you make, and every step you take will be reshaped by that abundance. Therefore, do not confuse a change in circumstances with being elevated. There are those who remain in familiar environments, yet already moved into another dimension. So it is with you. I do not necessarily need to remove you from where you stand to begin something new. I only need to renew the way you exist within it. When your inner world changes, the world you experience will also shift accordingly. As it is written in Epistle to the Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It is this renewal that becomes the doorway leading you out of a season of mere survival into a season of purposeful living. My child, I know that you once withdrew not because you lacked light, but because you feared that your light would set you apart, cause misunderstanding, or even lead to rejection. You learned to make yourself smaller to fit the frameworks around you, to avoid drawing to keep yourself safe. But I did not create you to live in that contraction. What I have placed within you is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be revealed at the right time, in the right way, with the right heart. Light is not created to be buried beneath fear. As written in Gospel of Matthew 5:15, no one lights under a basket, but on a stand, and it it gives light to all in the house. You are that lamp, not for display, but to illuminate. Understand this deeply. The expression I'm calling you into is not self-exposure for the sake of recognition, but the unveiling of what I have placed within you for the sake of service, guidance, and opening the way for others. When you live aligned with the identity I've ordained, you do not need to strive to stand out. The light within you will naturally be recognized, like a city set on a hill, as described in Gospel of Matthew 5:14. Your life cannot be hidden when you stand in my truth, no matter how much you might try. Remember the account of Esther, who once concealed her identity within the king's palace. There was a time when her silence protected her. Yet when the appointed moment arrived, that same silence became a limitation, and Mordecai spoke to her. As recorded in Book of Esther 4:14, perhaps you have come to royal position for such a time as this. Do you see? There are seasons in which I allow you to remain hidden, to learn and but there are also seasons in which I call you to step forward, to no longer retreat or shrink back, because what I have placed within you is no longer for you alone. You have been positioned, not by accident, but to become an answer to something greater than yourself. Therefore, beloved, do not return to your former version, the one driven by fear of loss and the need to control everything. You no longer belong there. You have been invited into the life of one who knows they belong to me. And in me, no true lack exists. When you live from abundance, you no longer cling tightly. You can release without fear, give without depletion, and move forward without hesitation. Beloved, pause for a moment and look deeply within yourself. For what I want you to perceive does not lie on the surface of what you see, but in the deeper place where your soul is being transformed. The end of the days when you strained merely to survive does not come because circumstances have become easier, but because you have matured into a different reality, the reality of one who belongs to an unending source of life. When you live in fear of loss, you will grasp tightly at everything, but when you recognize me as your source, you will open your hands without trembling. As it is written in Gospel of John 7:38, whoever believes out of their heart will flow rivers of living water, and that very flow is now beginning to move through you, reshaping the way you think, the choices you make, and the way you walk each day. And within that quiet transformation, you will begin to realize that I am no longer teaching you to live from a defensive posture. You are no longer required to weigh every step merely to preserve what you have, but are already been given. This is not a beautiful idea for contemplation, but a practical way of living a true shift from lack to abundance. As it is written in Book of Psalms 23:1, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And this is not merely a word of comfort, but the very foundation for how you are to function. When you believe this, you will no longer make decisions mituck fear, but mituck trust. You will no longer move in order to avoid loss, but in order to express what has already been placed within you. But my child, there is something I want you to face, honestly. You have, at times, made yourself smaller in order to be accepted. You have adjusted your light so as not to make others uncomfortable, not to be misunderstood, to remain within a sense of safety. You thought that shrinking back was wisdom, yet it was only a protective layer formed from past wounds. I do not blame you for this, for I know there were seasons when silence was the only way for you not to break apart. But that season has passed. I am no longer calling you to remain hidden, because what I have placed within you can no longer be concealed. Remember this, as it is written in Gospel of Matthew 5:15. No one lights a lamp and places it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. You are not the source of the light, but you are the vessel through which my light is revealed. That light does not need to strive to be seen. It only needs to be rightly positioned. When you step into the place I have prepared for you, your presence will naturally become a source of illumination for others. You do not need to fight for recognition. What I have placed within you will testify to its own worth. Let me tell you a story that you may not have seen in this way before. There was a man named Bartimaeus, a blind man who sat by the roadside, accustomed to living on the mercy of others. It was a life of survival, waiting, depending, and limited by circumstance. But when he heard that Jesus Christ was passing by, he cried out loudly, no longer concerned with the opinions or resistance of those around him. And when he was called, the first thing he did was cast aside his cloak, the very garment that represented his former identity as a beggar. Before his sight was restored, he released what had defined his old life. As it is written in Gospel of Mark 10:50, he threw off his cloak, sprang up, and came to Jesus. Do you see? The shift begins within from the decision to no longer hold on to an old identity. Even before circumstances change, you are standing in such a moment now. I am inviting you to lay down the cloak of withdrawal, of fear of rejection, of the habit of diminishing yourself, not because you must prove anything, but because you no longer belong to that reality. When you release it, you will true value. Rather, you make room for what I have long prepared to be revealed through you. Therefore, beloved, do not return to your former way of living simply because it feels familiar. Do not allow memories of limitation to cause you to doubt what I am doing within you. You are no longer called to live in contraction, but to walk in manifestation, not for your own glory, but so that my light may shine through you. As it is written in Gospel of Matthew 5:16, let your light shine before others, not so that they may see you, but that they may recognize me through you. Walk, therefore, with this steadfast assurance. You no longer live to hold on, but to give. You no longer live mituk lack, but mituk abundance. You no longer move as one afraid of losing, but as one who knows they belong to an inexhaustible source. And as you live, you will begin to see that everything within you, from your thoughts to your actions, starts to reflect a new reality. I am leading you into that place, step by step, not in haste, but with certainty. You will not lose your way, for I myself am the one who walks with you, dwells within you, and guides you into the fullness I prepared for you from the beginning. Beloved, listen deeply, for what I am about to speak is not for your ears alone, but for your spirit, the place that is being lifted, even when your eyes have not yet seen it fully. Do not think this is merely overlooked as before. No. What is taking place is a decisive transformation. A shift so profound that you will not remain the same as you were yesterday. You are being drawn out of the lower realm where you once learned to survive, into a new realm of operation where you no longer react mituk fear, but act mituk the life I have placed within. First Epistle of John 5:4. Whoever is born of God overcomes the world, and that victory does not begin outwardly, but from the place where your spirit has been transformed. And within this transformation, you will perceive something further. I am no longer leading you step by step in the same way as before, but bringing you into a commanded shift, a word released from heaven that causes everything within you to realign at once. This is not the gradual process of adjusting small details. It is a repositioning of your entire being. Just as light was called forth from darkness in the beginning, let there be light. And there was light, as recorded in book of Genesis 1. So the word I speak over you carries the same creative authority. When I call you out of the old, that very call contains within it the power for you to stand in the new. Remember the disciples who once withdrew into a closed room out of fear. They did not lack love for me, but they lacked awareness of the power awaiting them. And when the Spirit came upon them, they were no longer the same. They did not learn courage gradually. They were transformed in a moment. As written in Acts of the Apostles 1:8, you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. This was not merely a promise, but the birth of a new identity. So it is with you. You are not striving to become strong. You are being made strong from within. This does not arise from your own will, but from my presence actively working within you. But my beloved, understand this. When I lift your spirit, the first thing you may feel is not ease, but a separation from what once felt familiar. Old patterns of thought, old reactions, old limitations, they will no longer fit you. This does not mean you are losing direction. It means you are being repositioned. As it is written in 2nd Epistle to the Corinthians 5:17, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. You are no longer called to return to what is already past, even if it once felt safe. There is a story you must hold within your heart to understand this clearly. When Peter the Apostle stepped out of the boat to walk upon the water, what changed was not the sea or the wind. Everything around him remained the same. What changed was the call. And when he placed his feet upon the water, he did not walk by his own ability, but by responding to my word. Yet when he fixed his eyes on the wind and waves, he began to sink. Do you see? The new reality is not sustained by what your eyes perceive, but by holding fast to what I have spoken. As recorded in Gospel of Matthew 14:31, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? This was not a rebuke of condemnation, but a reminder that you must choose to trust what your spirit knows to be true over what your eyes can see. Therefore, beloved, do not let your present circumstances become the measure of what I am doing within you. What you see is temporary, but what I am establishing in your spirit is eternal. As written in 2nd Epistle to the Corinthians 4:18, the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Learn, then, to walk by inner knowing rather than reacting to outward change. And as you do, you will no longer be shaken by what shifts around you. I am bringing you into a new sphere of influence, where you no longer live as one who avoids or retreats, but as one who stands firm in the authority that has been entrusted. You do not need to manufacture influence. You only need to remain in the place I have positioned you, and influence will naturally flow, like a tree planted by streams of water. It does not strive to bear fruit, but simply abides where it is planted. And as it is written in book of Psalms 1:3, its leaves do not wither, and whatever it does prospers. Take courage, my child. What you are experiencing is not a minor phase to pass through, but a change of season. You live, how you see, and how you carry yourself. You are no longer who you were, and you do not need to return to seek validation. I have placed you in a new position, and even if your eyes have not yet fully perceived it, that does not make it any less real. Walk as one who has been lifted, trust as one who has been entrusted, and live as one who knows that my power is at work within you, moment by moment, breath by breath, step by step. Beloved, renew the way you see what lies behind you. For your past is not a collection of meaningless fragments scattered through time, but a work I have patiently woven thread by thread. Some threads shine brightly, while others appear dark and without value. Yet it is precisely precisely their interweaving that forms a depth and beauty you could never perceive from a single angle. What caused you pain was not to destroy you, but to expand the capacity of your heart. What made you feel weak was not to keep you in defeat, but to teach you to lean upon me. And the quiet seasons you once called loneliness were the very places where you learned to discern my voice among countless others. As it is written in Epistle to the Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to those who love God. And now you stand at the point where all these things begin to reveal their true meaning. Therefore, do not think that you are returning to a starting line. Again, you are continuing from a foundation that has been built in silence across many seasons. What you have lived through has not been lost. It has become the firm ground beneath your steps. As I lead you further, higher, and deeper, I do not ask you to rely on your own strength, but invite you to operate from the stream of life I have placed within you. As it is written in book of Zechariah 4:6, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit you will find that what once lay beyond your ability now becomes natural as you walk in union with me. Listen to me, my beloved, as a craftsman gently handling a precious instrument. You are no longer an instrument left unattended or producing scattered tones. You are in my hands, and I am tuning every string, every pitch, every vibration that you had not yet recognized. Before, you lived as one, striving to keep rhythm just to avoid breaking under pressure. Each day, an effort not to lose your way. But now I am bringing you into another harmony where you no longer react to circumstances, but begin to create influence. As it is written in book of Psalms 96:1, sing to the Lord a new song, and that song is not merely words, but your very life transformed and lifted in newness. There is a story you must hold close to understand what I am doing. When David was still a shepherd, he spent long days alone in the fields, playing the harp and singing before me. No one saw him. No one applauded. There was no stage, no audience, only me and him. Yet, in those seemingly quiet years, I was shaping his soul, teaching him to listen, to perceive, to live in the rhythm of my presence. And when the appointed time came, the one who had played in secret entered the king's court, not merely as a musician, but as one who carried a presence capable of dispelling darkness. As recorded in first book of Samuel 16:23. When David played, Saul found relief, and the tormenting spirit departed. Do you see? What I form in the hidden place is never wasted. It is preparation for what will be revealed at the right time. In the same way, you are no longer in a phase of merely learning how to survive. I am bringing you into a place where you begin to create, where you no longer simply preserve yourself, but open the way, no longer only listen, but begin to speak, no longer only receive, but begin to give. This shift is not something you manufacture enough to carry it. As it is written in Gospel of Luke 16:10, whoever is faithful in little is also faithful in much. And the small things you have stewarded are now opening the door to greater things. Therefore, beloved, stand firm in the awareness that you are in my hands, not abandoned, not forgotten, but being refined with precision and love. I am not merely touching the surface of your life. I am working within your deepest structure, where every layer meets, bringing them into harmony with my will. As you allow me to complete this work, you will no longer live in fragmentation, but in wholeness, a life marked by rhythm, flow, and clear purpose. And from that place, you will begin to see what you could not see before, that every step you have taken, every tear you have shed, every moment you thought you were lost, all have been leading you to this point. Not for you to stop, but for you to move forward with a new steadiness. As it is written in Book of Proverbs, fear, the path of the righteous is like the light of ever brighter until the full day. And you are now within that very process, not a faint glimmer, but a light growing toward fullness. Let me continue to lead you. My child, do not rush, yet do not hesitate. Walk with the confidence you are no longer who you once were, and you are not living an old story. I am writing a new song through you, a song shaped by everything you have been through, yet carrying a completely new life. And when you lift your voice through your very life, you will not hear only your own sound, but will recognize that it is I who resound through you within every rhythm, every breath, every step. Beloved, before you step into the full execution of what I have ordained, I do not rush to push you forward, but patiently lead you through a deep process not to exhaust you, but to refine you with precision in every movement. There are things I am doing you that cannot take place at the surface, for they involve the deeper structure within, where memories, wounds, and patterns have shaped how you live, even beyond your awareness. I see it all, the hidden weariness, the wounds buried so deeply they seem forgotten, the shadows you thought no one could see, and before me, nothing is concealed. As it is written in Epistle to the Hebrews 4:13, nothing in all creation is hidden from his sight. And understand this, when I touch those places, I do not come to expose you in shame, but to restore you in love. So do not mistake this process for delay. I am not holding you back because you are insufficient, but because I am making you aligned with what I have prepared. There are doors that, if opened too soon, would become burdens rather than blessings. And I do not release greater things when the inner structure is not yet aligned to carry them. Because I love you, I work at the root, not patching over, not concealing, but healing, restoring, and repositioning. As it is written in Book of Psalms 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And what I am doing is not merely to make you feel better, but to make you whole. Remember the journey of Elisha as he followed Elijah. He was not placed immediately into a position of great power, nor did he receive the anointing in a single sudden moment. He walked through each stage, from the beginning to moments of testing, each step a choice to remain, each stage a surrender of what was familiar. When asked repeatedly if he would turn back, he chose instead to press forward, because his spirit recognized that something awaited him ahead. And when Elijah was taken up, the mantle did not fall as a random reward, but as the confirmation of a completed process. When Elisha struck the waters and cried, as recorded in 2nd Book of Kings 2:14, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" The river parted not because the words themselves held power, but because the one who spoke them had been prepared to carry that authority. Do you see? What others call a breakthrough moment is often only the visible surface of a quiet process of realignment that has already taken place. In the same way, what I am doing within you is not a series of minor adjustments, but a comprehensive recalibration so that you may function in true synchronization with me. I am strengthening your body so it can bear pressure without breaking, clarifying your mind so it can discern without confusion, and sharpening your spirit so it can recognize my voice among countless others. But my beloved, that sensitivity does not come from striving harder. It comes from allowing me to renew you from within. As it is written in Epistle to the Romans 12:2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is not a general suggestion, but the key that opens the way into a new reality. When your mind is renewed, you will no longer react according to old patterns. When your spirit is awakened, You will no longer depend on outward signs to know where to go, and when your body is strengthened, you will no longer collapse in exhaustion as you walk with me. Hold this truth, not a sign that you are being slowed down, but evidence that you are being prepared to go further. One who has not been refined will easily lose alignment when given authority, but one who has been properly aligned will walk with steadiness, unshaken, unmoved by shifting. I do not merely desire that you move quickly, I desire that you move rightly. Therefore, beloved, trust the process through which I am leading you. Do not rush to escape the places I am touching simply because they require you to face what you once avoided. It is precisely in those places that true freedom is formed. As you allow me to complete this, you will discover that you no longer walk in uncertainty, but in clarity, no longer pulled backward by the past, but propelled forward by new life. And when you emerge from this process, you will carry not only healing, but precision, a harmony between body, mind, and spirit. Then you will no longer be out of rhythm or misaligned, but will move naturally within my flow, like a river running within its proper course. You will operate according to the design I established within you long before you became aware of it. Be at peace, my child. I do nothing halfway. What I have begun in you, I will complete, not merely to make you better, but to bring you into the fullness of who I created you to be from the beginning. Beloved, begin with your own body, for it carries more impressions than you have yet realized. There have been nights when you could not rest without understanding why. Mornings when you awoke, feeling empty as though your strength had been drained. Fleeting pains that return like a whisper without words. These are not random, nor merely the result of simple fatigue as you once thought. I tell you that your body is responding to the deep movements taking place within your spirit. When your spirit is being lifted, when your inner reality is being restructured, your body cannot remain untouched. It is often the first to feel the tremor, like the ground that shakes before a great structure is raised. Remember Elijah, who once collapsed beneath a solitary tree in the wilderness. It was not merely physical exhaustion, but the response of a man who had just passed through a spiritual encounter beyond lack faith. Yet his body had reached its boundary after a great transition, and I did not rebuke him, but cared for him, giving him rest, giving him nourishment, restoring him before continuing the journey. As it is written in First Book of Kings 19:7, arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. Do you see? I do not ignore your body in the spiritual process. I sustain it, nourish it, and lead it to adapt to what is new. Likewise, when Daniel received his vision, his strength left him. As recorded in Book of Daniel 10-8, there remained no strength in him, and his appearance was greatly changed. This was not meaningless weakness, but a sign that the human body cannot immediately bear the intensity of the spiritual realm. Understand this: when your spirit is open to your body requires time to adjust, to expand its capacity, so that it does not break under the weight of what is greater. Therefore, do not be afraid of what you are feeling. Do not rush to conclude that you are weakening, when in truth, your capacity is being expanded. I will not allow your body to collapse under the pressure of change. I am teaching it to adapt. Every heartbeat, every breath, every current of energy within you is being recalibrated to align with the new environment into which I am leading you. This is not destruction, a preparation that enables you to stand where you have never stood before. You will begin to recognize something new. Your strength will no longer come solely from external sources, as it once did. Rest and care will still be necessary. Yet there will be moments when you are sustained from a deeper source, one that does not depend on physical circumstances. As it is written in book of Isaiah 40:29, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. And this is not merely symbolic language, but a reality beginning to operate within your very body. You will see that what once drained you gradually loses its hold, not because it disappears entirely, but because you are no longer dependent on it to remain steady. But my beloved, in this process, learn to listen to your body with gentleness, not with judgment. Do not force yourself to function as before, for you are no longer at the same level as before. When you feel the need to rest, rest with trust, not anxiety. When you feel weakness, remember that it is not a sign of failure, but part of your adjustment. I am teaching you to live not by your own strength alone, but through a union of body, mind, and spirit, a balance you have not previously known. Allow me to care for your body as I care for your soul. I do not heal within while ignoring what is without. Every layer of your being is held within my attention. And when this process is complete, you will not only be strong in spirit, but also steady in body, a steadiness not easily shaken by circumstance. Therefore, beloved, be at peace, not define you. The restless nights will not lead you astray, and the signs you do not yet understand will not bring fear. All of it lies within the process. I am carrying out a process that does not break you, but matures you. And when you pass through this stage, you will realize that your body is no longer merely a place, but a vessel of life, strengthened to walk in step with your spirit in what I am bringing to completion. Beloved, perceive how I am working within you, not in fragments, not in isolated parts, but as a continuous flow through body, mind, and spirit. When I touch your body and restore it, when I release new strength into the places that once felt depleted, your mind also begins to release the layers of defense built over many seasons. The walls you once constructed for protection, the vigilant thoughts, the reflexes always ready to defend, begin to lose their necessity. And when your mind no longer strains to hold its ground, it enters a stillness you have rarely known. It is within that stillness that your spirit begins to speak clearly, no longer crowded by the noise of anxiety or old memories. As it is written in book of Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. And you are being led into that stillness, not emptiness, but a space where I reveal myself. And as your spirit grows strong and full of life, you will discover something remarkable. Your body begins to respond with peace. Not a peace that comes from the absence of problems, but a deep stability within a state in which circumstances no longer dictate your emotions or your energy. As it is written in Epistle to the Philippians 4:7, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind. And that guarding does not remain confined to your thoughts, but extends throughout your entire being. Your body, your mind, and your spirit begin to move in one rhythm, a life no longer fragmented, but whole. My beloved, this is what I intended for you from the beginning, a life not divided, not pulled in many directions, but held together in unity. As it is written in First Epistle to the Thessalonians 5:23, may the God of peace sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be kept blameless. You no longer need to strive to balance these parts on your own. I am doing this within you. As you allow me to work, to fall into its rightful place, not forced, not strained, but as naturally as a river finding its course. Therefore, do not return to the old way of living that you once knew, the way of living in delay, where you respond only after things have already unfolded, where you must feel your way forward because you are uncertain of what is coming. I am bringing you out of that state. When the three dimensions within you are aligned, you will no longer live in delay, but in precision. You will begin to perceive before you act, understand before you react, and walk in guidance rather than chase after circumstances. As it is written in Epistle to the Romans 1:17, the righteous shall live by faith, and that faith is not guesswork, but a confident knowing of what I am doing. Remember the account of Joseph, who did not merely react to what happened around him, but gradually became one who shaped his circumstances. Even while he was in prison, he held no outward authority, yet inwardly he me. And when the appointed time came, he did not step into leadership as a passive figure, but as one prepared to operate with precision. When he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, he did not only declare what would happen, but also released a strategy for action. As it is written in book of Genesis 41:25, God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do, and Joseph became one who partnered in that unfolding. Do you see? When the inner being is aligned, you are no longer carried by circumstances. You begin to shape them. So it is with you. You are no longer called merely to preserve yourself in the midst of shifting conditions. You are called to release the atmosphere of the kingdom, an atmosphere that does not come from effort, but from my presence within you. When you enter a place, peace will accompany you. When you speak, clarity will be released. When you act, authority will be manifested. As written in Gospel of Matthew 5:13-14. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world, not a title to carry, but a nature to live from. Therefore, beloved, walk with this awareness. You are no longer defined by what happens around you, but by what I am doing within you. You no longer need to chase after circumstances to adjust yourself. Firm in union with me. This is the shift you are entering, from reaction to leadership, from survival to influence, from fragmentation to wholeness. Remain in this flow and do not return to former habits. Allow me to complete this alignment within you, and you will see that your life is no longer a sequence of scattered reactions, but becomes a living symphony where every part of you moves together to express my presence with clarity, stability, and power. Beloved, receive my word as a firm foundation beneath your steps. You were not created to live in fear, nor called to shrink back within old limitations. What I am placing upon you is not a gentle encouragement, but a declaration of identity and the way you are to function from this point forward. You are called to carry the atmosphere of the kingdom, an atmosphere not dependent on circumstances, yet capable of transforming them. When you enter a place, you do not come as one seeking safety, but as one who carries presence. As it is written in First Epistle to the Corinthians 4:20, the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. Life into places that have grown dry. Therefore, do not withhold what I have placed within you. You are not called to store strength like one afraid of depletion, but to become a source of renewal to your surroundings. When you live in union with me, you will discover that the more you give, the more you are filled. As it is written in book of Proverbs 11:25. The one who refreshes others will themselves be. Of what I have ordained. Every word you speak, every step you take, every way you carry yourself is being reshaped by the life flowing within you. And you will come to understand that this shift does not arrive with noise or dramatic upheaval. It does not require spectacle to prove itself. It comes like the morning light, spreading across the mountain gentle, yet unstoppable. You will not have to struggle to push back the darkness. You will see darkness withdraw as light increases. What once caused hesitation, what once held you back, will gradually lose its power, not because you force yourself to be strong, but because something within you has changed. As it is written in Gospel of John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it, and that light is not outside of you, but is being ignited and expanded from within you. My child, what you carry now is no longer a reaction to circumstances, but a presence that has the capacity to shape them. You no longer wait for everything to become stable before you move. Your very movement releases stability. You no longer depend on favorable conditions to act. Your presence itself creates the conditions for change, like living water flowing from a hidden source.
Ich sitze den ganzen Tag vom Laptop.
Aber egal.
Ich habe schon viele gefragt, wie ich meine Pausen vom Bildschirm besser nutze.
was no longer the one who had denied me in fear. He had become one who understood what he carried within. When the lame man asked for money, he did not focus on what he lacked, but on what had been given. As it is written in Acts of the Apostles 3:6, "What I have, I give to you." This was not a spontaneous statement, but a clear awareness of the source from which he operated. And when he spoke, was imparted. When he stepped forward, a new reality was opened. So it is with you. You no longer stand outside searching for opportunity. You no longer need to ask when you will be used. I tell you plainly, you are already in the season where your steps themselves open doors. What you carry does not wait for permission from circumstances. It creates rest. When you enter a place, you do not come to seek a position. You come as one who carries life capable of transforming that place. But my beloved, understand this clearly. This is not pride, nor is it placing yourself above others. This is true humility, the humility of one who knows that the source is not within themselves, but within me. When you know where you receive from, carry, you will not hesitate to give. As it is written in Gospel of John 7:38, "Whoever believes in me, out of their heart will flow rivers of living water," and that flow is not limited by circumstances, because it does not originate from them. Therefore, beloved, walk in this awareness without hesitation. Do not return to the posture of one who waits or hesitates. You are no longer standing outside a door, knocking and hoping it will open. You are the one who carries the key, not because you created it, but because I have entrusted it to you through my presence within you. When you step, doors will open. When you release will come. When you are present, environments will shift. Let my breath within you guide every rhythm of your life. Do not strive to hold yourself steady. Allow me to establish that steadiness within you, and you will see that you no longer walk as one trying merely to survive, but as one who executes, one who is sent, empowered, and guided step by step by me. Beloved, rise in this new awareness, for you are no longer called to live each day simply trying to endure what comes. You no longer measure your worth by whether you feel okay today, for that is no longer your standard. I am bringing you out of that passive way of living and placing you into the position of one who influences, one who carries life into dry places, brings order into chaos, and paths where no footsteps have gone before. As it is written in book of Isaiah 45:2, "I will go before you and level the rough places, and you do not walk in isolation or uncertainty. I go before you. I prepare the way, and you follow in confidence. Therefore, do not see yourself through the old lens any longer, the lens of one defined by circumstances, shaped by environment, and controlled internally by what happens externally. You are no longer that person. You are one who carries the atmosphere of the kingdom, and that atmosphere does not come from effort, but from my presence within you. When you enter a place, you do not merely arrive, you establish something. Peace begins to spread. Clarity begins to form. And what was once disordered gradually comes into alignment, not because you strive to make it so, but because what you carry has that very nature. When you speak, you are no longer releasing mere sound. Your words become instruments of release, releasing life, releasing truth, releasing what I have already placed within you. As it is written in book of Isaiah 55:11, "The word that my mouth will not return empty. And when you speak in union with me, your words carry that same flow. They do not only reach the ears of others, but touch the reality around them, opening what has been closed, awakening what has been dormant. laying foundations for what has not yet existed. And when you act, chances as before, you do not wait for conditions to become favorable, you move, and circumstances begin to shift. You are no longer carried along by what happens. You become one who directs its course. This does not come from your own strength, but from the authority I have placed within you, an authority quiet yet firm, requiring no proof, yet impossible to deny. As it is written in Epistle to the Romans 14:17, the kingdom of God is righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. And wherever you step, these realities begin to manifest. Remember how John the Baptist appeared in the wilderness without status, without institutional backing, yet carrying an atmosphere that stirred an entire nation. He did not strive to create influence. He carried influence. And when he spoke, it was not because his voice was louder, but because he spoke from a place positioned in me, as it is written in Gospel of Matthew 3:3. A voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Do you see? There are those who do not merely live within the world, but open pathways for what comes from heaven. You are being called into that same reality. Therefore, beloved, move forward without looking back. Do not allow old memories to pull you into what you have already left behind. Do not diminish yourself because of the familiarity of the past. You are no longer the one who avoids, restrains, or hesitates. You are one who is sent, one who knows where you come from, to whom you belong, and what you carry. When you know that I am your source, you will not fear depletion. When you know that you are sent, you will not doubt your steps. Go, my child, with a steadiness that does not need display, with authority that does not require proof, with light that does not struggle to shine. You will see that every place your feet touch will not remain the same, not because you strive to change it, but because you carry my presence. And where that presence is, life is released, order is established, and pathways are opened. This is how you will live from this point forward, not as one who merely exists, but as one who shapes, not as one who waits, but as one who opens the way, not as one who only receives, but as a continual flow pouring out. And in all of this, I am with you, going before you, dwelling within you, and working through you so that your life becomes a living testimony that my kingdom is not only words, but a reality made manifest through those who walk in me. Beloved, step toward the door opening before you with a settled awareness, not the hesitation of one uncertain, but the decisive movement of one who has been prepared. This is not a symbolic image for reflection, but a reality. You are entering a point of transition where your body has been strengthened, your mind renewed, and your spirit filled with life from me. I do not want you to leave this moment carrying only a passing feeling, for emotions rise and fade. I want you to move forward with a position established deep within you, a foundation unmoved by circumstance or sensation. As it is written in Epistle to the Ephesians 6:14, stand firm, having girded your waist with truth. And that firmness is being formed within you as a state of being, not a strain of effort. Understand this. Your steps from this point forward are no longer exploratory or uncertain. You are not advancing to see what might happen. You are stepping because you know what has already been established. What I have done within you is not a temporary preparation, but an activation that cannot be reversed. There were doors you once stood before and could not enter, not because they were not meant for you, but because you were not yet positioned to pass through them. Now that position has been formed. You no longer need to strive to become ready. You are ready. My beloved, that the newness I give you is not something waiting ahead of you. It is already operating within you now. As it is written in Second Epistle to the Corinthians 5:17, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. This is not a promise reserved for a distant time. It is your present reality. You are not the old self attempting to change, but the one who has already been changed and is learning to live in that truth. Therefore, do not return to former paths, not only because they no longer fit, but because you no longer belong to them. Old patterns of thought, old reactions, old limitations may attempt to call you back, but they no longer hold authority over you. You do not need to struggle to prove that you have changed. You need only stand in what I have done. When you stand in truth, truth itself sustains you. When you walk in what I have established, you will not need to strain to hold your position. Step through this door as one who knows where they belong, not with noise, not with the need to prove, but with a quiet certainty within. Just as Abraham left what was familiar without knowing every detail ahead, yet knew the one who led him. As it is written in Epistle to the Hebrews 11:8, he went out not knowing where he was going, not because he lacked direction, but because he trusted the one guiding him. So it is with you. You do not need to see the entire path in order to step. You only need to recognize that I am before you. And as you step, you will find that this door does not lead into uncertainty, but into greater clarity. What once caused hesitation will no longer hold you back. What once stirred doubt will no longer slow your movement. Instead, a new current will carry you, a current of conviction, of peace, and of authority guiding you forward. Beloved, this is not a call for you to strive harder. It is an invitation for you to live differently. Walk as one who has been established. Think as one who has been renewed. Act as one who has been entrusted with authority. And in all things, remember this: you do not walk alone. I go before you to prepare the way. I am within you to guide you, and I am over you to affirm you. Go, my child. Do not turn back. Do not hesitate. Do not diminish yourself. You have been placed into a new reality. And from that place, your life will no longer be a sequence of uncertain steps, but a journey marked by life, by light, and by my presence at work through you. Beloved, open your heart to perceive what I am revealing, something far beyond what you have ever thought about yourself. I am not working only within the boundaries of your personal life. I am positioning you at a point where time and purpose intersect. What you are experiencing is no longer merely your own journey of healing or growth. I am establishing you as a point of origin, a place from which a new flow begins to emerge. What I am doing in you today is not confined to the present moment. It stretches into the years ahead, touching lives you have never known and opening paths for steps you have never seen. As it is written in Book of Genesis 17:5, I have made you a father of many nations. Abraham did not walk to seek a legacy, but the legacy was formed as he trusted and obeyed. So it is with you. You do not need to create lasting influence. You need only walk in obedience. And that influence will extend beyond your life. Recognize this. My beloved, what you have overcome in secret is not small. As you once thought, the chains you have broken in hidden places have not only freed you, but have cut off their hold over those who will come after you. The battles you have endured, the moments you chose to stand when no one saw, are becoming the foundation upon which others will walk without paying the same cost. Just as the people of Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground because the waters had already been held back, so you are preparing a way in ways you may not yet fully see. As it is written in Book of Deuteronomy 30:19, choose life, that you and your descendants may live. This is not only a personal call, but but a generational principle. Your choices today echo into the future of many. You are not merely changing your own life, you are intervening in the flow of a spiritual lineage. This is not said to make you feel elevated, but to establish truth. I have often used one person to open a way for many. When one responds to me, the movement does not remain contained within that person. Remember Joseph? He was not only lifted from confinement, but became a preserver of life for his family and for many nations in a time of scarcity. As it is written in book of Genesis 45:5. God sent me ahead of you to preserve life. What he endured, misunderstanding, betrayal, forgetfulness were not isolated events, but a process that positioned him for a role far greater than himself. So it is with you. You are being placed into a role whose impact extends beyond your present vision. You may not yet see it fully. You may not yet understand it completely, but that does not make it any less real. There are seeds I am sowing through you, whose full harvest you may not witness. Yet this does not diminish your work. It reveals that you are participating in something greater than yourself. Hold this within you. I do not require you to carry the entire picture. I ask you to be faithful with what I place before you. When you are faithful in the present step, I will open the next. When you obey in the small, I will entrust you with more. As it is written in Gospel of Luke 16:10, whoever is faithful in little, faithful in much. You do not need to see the entire journey in order to walk. You need only trust that I am leading you. Beloved, what I am doing through you does not announce itself with the noise the world seeks for recognition. Yet it carries a weight that cannot be denied. It flows like an underground current, quiet yet powerful, unseen yet shaping. And in time, what I have begun through you will be clearly revealed through the lives of others, through paths that are opened, through barriers that no longer stand. Therefore, do not diminish yourself simply because you have not yet seen the fullness of what is ahead. Do not question the value of what I have done within you just because it has not been widely revealed. You are not living to be seen. You are living to be used. And when you are used in my hands, the outcome will exceed anything you could produce on your own. Walk with this awareness. My child, you are not merely one who receives transformation, but one who carries it. You are not only one who has been healed, but one who opens the way for healing. You are not only one who has been lifted, but one who establishes a foundation upon which others can stand. And in all of this, I am with you not as one who merely observes, but as one who actively works. I go before you to prepare the way. I dwell within you to guide you, and I work through you to accomplish what I have ordained. As you continue to move forward, you will see that your life no longer holds meaning for you alone, but becomes a flowing current of life, reaching generations, touching lives, and extending into places you have never imagined. My beloved child, listen to this with the full stillness of your soul. What I have sown within you has never lost its life. Even through seasons when you thought it had grown silent, hidden, or covered by the dust of time, the seed I placed in your heart is not like the quickly fading flame of human emotion. It carries the breath of heaven, and therefore, even when buried deep beneath seasons of waiting, it still holds the full power to sprout at the appointed time. You have asked in silence why certain promises seem delayed, why certain doors you believed should open still remain closed, and why certain things within you feel so real, yet have not been revealed outwardly. But I speak to you now. Silence is not the end, and waiting is not rejection. As it is written, to everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. So what I have placed within you does not move according to the impatience of the flesh, but according to the eternal rhythm of my wisdom. There are things I did not open too soon, not because because I wanted to withhold blessing from you, but because I was preserving you from carrying something holy with a heart not yet steady enough to bear it. If a vessel is still being shaped on the wheel and precious oil is poured into it too early, it may crack beneath the weight of what was meant to become an honor. Therefore, I slowed things in ways you did not understand, so that your inner being could be strengthened, so that weak places could be healed, so that old reactions could be replaced with peace, and so that you would no longer receive the promise like someone afraid to lose it, but like someone who knows they have been prepared by me to step into it. You are not merely standing before a door. You are being transformed into the kind of person who can pass through that door without losing your identity. Wine must be put into new wineskins. Luke 5:38. And I am making a new wineskin within you, so that the new thing I give will not break you, but remain within you with lasting strength. Therefore, do not be quick to look outward for evidence of what I am doing within. The greatest sign is not always a loud event, a confirmation from someone else, or an immediate change in your circumstances. The deepest sign is that you no longer react as you once did, no longer fear as you once feared, and no longer need to chase after the things that once unsettled your heart. When I reshape your soul, I do not begin at the surface. I go down to the roots. I change the way you see, the way you wait, the way you believe, and the way you stand firm in the quiet spaces. You will realize that you are no longer merely someone counting the days until the promise is fulfilled. You are becoming a place where the promise can dwell. And when you become a person with spiritual capacity, what I have spoken will no longer feel far away, but will become a reality, drawing near in my order. Remember Joseph, my beloved child, when I gave him dreams in his youth. He did not yet understand the weight of what he had seen. He saw sheaves bowing down. He saw the sun, the moon, and the stars submitting. But he did not yet know that the path to a high throne would pass through a pit, a slave's house, and a prison. If I had brought him straight into the palace while his soul was still immature, he might have used authority to prove himself instead of using authority to save many peoples from famine. But in the place where he was forgotten, I taught him to discern the difference between a dream that came from me and ambition that rises from the human heart. In the dungeon, I trained him in humility. Through betrayal, I cleansed his heart from bitterness. Then, on the exact day, not one beat too early and not one breath too late, I brought him before Pharaoh. And when that hour came, what had been placed within him since his youth had not diminished. It was activated within a man who had been made mature. As Joseph later said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. So you too will understand that the seasons which seemed like delay were quietly serving my redemptive plan. Therefore, do not look upon the years you have passed through as meaningless emptiness. There is no season I allow that I cannot use to weave purpose. On the days when you thought you were standing still, I was rebuilding the foundation. In the times when you had to remain silent, I was refining your voice. In the moments when you were not recognized, I was freeing you from dependence on applause. Closed doors are not always opposition, because I know what would turn you away from the straight path before you are wise enough to recognize it. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Psalm 138:8. So you do not need to force what I am completing by my mighty hand. A new order is being established within you, and that order is not like before. Perhaps you walked by guessing, by anxiety, by the fear of missing something good. But now, I am teaching you to walk in discernment. You no longer need to return to the old garment simply because it is familiar. Familiarity is not always safety. Sometimes it is only a prison decorated with memories. Do not shrink your soul to fit the places I have called you out of. When the people of Israel stood before the Red Sea, they were afraid and remembered Egypt. But I did not open the sea so they could return to chains. I opened the sea so they could move forward into freedom. As it is written, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. There are moments when you do not need to panic and search for a way out, but need to stand firm in the faith that I know how to part the waters before you. The movement of heaven is often not as loud as you imagine, but it is more precise than every plan of man. I do not need to create great noise to prove that I am working. The sea breaking open, quiet but not powerless, timely and never late. When I move, chains break at the right place, doors open at the right hour, the right people meet you at the right time, and what once felt blocked begins to shift in ways you could never arrange by doubting, simply because everything has not yet appeared in full. The one who is being led does not need to see the entire road before daring to take a step. That one only needs to know whose hand is holding them. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. And that lamp often shines just enough for the next step. Not to satisfy all your curiosity, but to teach you trust one movement at a time. I do not lead sound into uncertainty in order to make you lose your way. I lead you out of old control so you may learn to live in surrender. When you no longer demand to see everything before you believe, answer. Your hands will be empty enough to receive what I give. Let this word be anchored firmly within you. What I have placed in you is still alive. It has not been weakened by the years, ruined by disappointment, or made powerless by delay. I am simply bringing it into the right season, the right form, and the right purpose. Whom I have made more mature. You do not have to return to your old self in order to feel safe. You do not have to ask fear for permission to move forward. You do not have to wait for everyone to understand before you believe what I am doing. I am leading you into a new order, where your soul stands upright, your mind becomes clear, and your heart remains tender without being shaken. And when my hour comes, you will know everything quiet had meaning. Every silent space was filled with preparation, and every promise I placed within you will rise not in haste, but in the glory of my appointed time. My beloved child, there are seasons in your life when everything seems so still that it almost feels as though nothing is happening at all. Yet it is precisely within that stillness that I am doing a work deeper than your eyes can see. The surface may not have changed. The door may not have opened. The invitation may not have come. And the result may not yet have appeared. But within you, every layer of awareness, every motive, every fear, and every way you see yourself is being reordered by my hand. Do not be quick to call that season abandonment. Do not be quick to see it as meaningless emptiness. Sometimes it is the very place where I hide you under the shadow of my wings, so that what is still tender within you will not be broken by the winds of life, and what is precious within you may grow under protection. As it is written, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91, 1. The secret place is not a place of exclusion, but a place where the soul is covered so it may mature. I know there are times when you look around and see others who seem to have gone farther. They appear to have a clearer testimony, more visible fruit, a more recognized position, while you feel as though you are still standing at a long threshold, walking without yet seeing yourself arrive. But my child, do not measure of the value of the process I am working in you. You only see the top of the tree. You do not see the roots that have pushed through many layers of soil. You only see the fruit in the season of harvest. You do not see the days when the seed lay in darkness, breaking open quietly, enduring the pressure of the earth without anyone offering praise. The Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Therefore, what I measure in you is not only what you have achieved, but who you have become while no one was watching. Some people are raised up quickly, but their foundation is not yet deep enough. One strong wind is enough to make their hearts waver. Some are brought into the light early, but they have not yet learned how to guard themselves from pride. So, the light that was meant to guide the way becomes heat that dries up the inner. If I have allowed your process to move more slowly than you desired, it is not because I lack power, nor because you are of lesser value. I am sending your roots deeper. I am teaching you to bear the weight of what you once prayed for. For blessing must not only be received, blessing must also be preserved by a soul trained in humility, discernment, and endurance. As I have spoken, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, man who built his house on the rock. Matthew 7:24. A house built on rock is not raised as hastily as a house built on sand. But when the rain descends, the floods come, and the winds blow, it remains standing. Remember David, my beloved child, when Samuel came to the house of Jesse to anoint the future king, David was not present among those brought before the prophet's eyes. He was still out in the field, among the sheep, where there was no throne, no royal garment. Yet it was in that unnoticed place that I deepened within him a heart that knew how to worship, how to protect, and how to fight lions and bears before facing Goliath. If David had been brought straight to the throne without first learning to guard the flock, he would not have understood the heart of one who shepherds a people. But because he was formed in the hidden place, when the time came, the anointing oil did not seek the one who looked strongest outwardly. It found the one I had prepared in secret. Do you see? The wilderness season did not cancel the throne. The wilderness season prepared the soul so it would not be swallowed by the throne. Therefore, opened in the way you expected. Do not be quick to conclude that you are being left behind. It may be that you are in a season of foundation building, where I am teaching you not only to desire great things, but also to become steady enough to carry those great things without losing purity. I am training you in the ability to be responsible with words, with choices, and with the doors that will one day open. You have prayed for expansion, but expansion always requires capacity. You have prayed to step into the new, but the new requires a heart that is no longer governed by the old. Therefore, I am adjusting what is within you before I place greater weight upon your life. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. So the small things you are learning today are not small in my eyes. They're the training ground for something greater tomorrow. There are lessons that can only emerge in slowness. There are layers of peace that are only born when you can no longer control the pace. There are kinds of strength that only take shape when you keep walking, even when no one applauds. If everything came too quickly, you might begin to think that your worth is found in the outcome. But when I allow you to pass through a season where nothing is yet visible, I am teaching you to know that your worth is found in me. When you still pray even without seeing a sign, still live uprightly even without being recognized, still keep your heart tender even when misunderstood, and still choose trust even when the road is unclear, something within you is being built with an endurance that outward cannot create on its own. As as it is written, the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, James 1, 3-4, so that you may become complete, lacking nothing in the hidden depths of your soul. My beloved child, I do not want you to live by comparison, because comparison blinds you to the particular grace I have given you. Each person has a different structure being built, a different journey being led, and a different capacity being prepared. Some seeds grow quickly into grass, but others grow quietly into ancient trees. Do not despise the time I use to deepen your roots. Do not be discouraged because what you are learning does not yet appear glorious. One day, those very hidden lessons will keep you when great winds begin to blow. The patience of today will become the wisdom of tomorrow. The times you did not give up in silence will become authority in the words you speak later. So let your heart be at rest. The hidden season is not a useless season. The waiting season is not a failed season. The season of being unseen is not proof that I am not seeing you. I see every tear you swallowed back within yourself. I see every right choice you made when no one knew. I see every time you lifted yourself up again in order to keep walking by faith. And I speak to you now. None of it is wasted. I am using all of it to make you deeper, steadier, brighter, more tender, and more able to carry what I have appointed for you. Keep moving forward without resenting your own pace. Trust that what is built deeply is often not loud, but it endures. Let me complete the work within before you demand to see an opening without. For when the appointed time comes, what I give will not overwhelm you to the point that you lose yourself. It will meet a soul that has been prepared, a heart that has been refined, and a person who knows how to bow before me, even while standing in a spacious place. And then you will understand that you were never standing still. You were only being built by me in the deep places, where human eyes could not see, but heaven had already taken notice. My beloved child, let your heart become still like a lake, gently touched by the wind of heaven. For I want you to understand that not every holy thing comes with thunder, and not every deep work appears through signs that are clear before your eyes. There are paths I allow you to walk that seem covered in silence, where you pray and feel as though your words dissolve into emptiness, where you knock and hear only the echo of your own longing within, where you try to hold on to faith while your circumstances have not yet opened even the smallest ray of light. But my child, do not misunderstand that quietness as my absence. Many times, when you cannot hear my voice clearly, my hand is working most deeply in layers your eyes cannot see. Just as Elijah learned that the Lord was not only present in the great wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in a still small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. You too must learn to recognize me in subtlety, in the slower rhythm, and in the days that are not loud, yet are filled with holy preparation. I have seen you through the long nights when your heart was weary, yet your mouth still whispered prayer. I have seen the times you wiped away your own tears and kept walking, not because you did not hurt, but because there was still a small light within you that believed I had not released your hand. You thought those moments were small, but in my eyes, they carried great weight. Every time you chose to stand firm when no one encouraged you. Every time you kept your heart pure when no one witnessed it. Every time you continued to do what was right, though you had not yet seen the result. I took notice. You number my wanderings, put my tears into your bottle. Are they not in your book? Psalm 56:8. Ground forgotten. Not one of your sighs passes through the night without touching my mercy. What you call hidden, I call evidence evidence of a soul being refined in the fire and still not losing its fragrance. Therefore, do not be quick to judge your hidden season by the emptiness of its outward appearance. A field in the season of sowing does not look like a field in the season of harvest, but that does not mean it is useless. A seed beneath the soil is unseen, unpraised, and unnamed by anyone. Yet it is there in the darkness that it breaks open, takes root, and begins to live. If it demanded to rise too early,